This week's episode was brought to you by James Kirk Spratlin. Thank you, James Kirk Spratlin. It's with the generous support of listeners just like you that we here at The Whole Rabbit get to keep researching strange and interesting ways to envelop your ear holes with sonic thought displacement encoded fields with hypnotic subliminal messages, capable of redacting your anxieties and stimulating your third, even fourth eye, with methods developed by our team of extraterrestrial engineers we acquired from a work exchange program. If you'd like to help us keep our extraterrestrial friends gainfully employed, or just hear the second half of this episode, then please visit www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your fiat currency in the quantity of just $5 will not only get you the full version of this episode, but unlimited access to our whole library of uncensored, extended-length episodes about esoteric topics you'd normally require reading books to learn about. But that's not all. I'll send you our hallowed 5x5 extra sticky vinyl sticker of our Big Bunny Baphomet cover art, and you'll even get the secret keys to our Discord server where we talk about offensive character animations in Tekken. If you enjoy the free section of the show just fine and would rather save your $5 for a very big Tootsie Roll, then please consider giving us a like, subscribe, or share on your social media platform of choice. Heck, if you really enjoy the show, give us a good review on Spotify or Apple Podcast. It's a boost, and we appreciate those. Damn it. That being said, we had no time to write or record this week, so we did an impromptu recording session with Tim Hacker of the Cryptic Chronicles podcast, crypticchronicles.com, in the middle of the night. We're actually both releasing the same episode, but edited differently on each respective platform. I don't know why we did that, but we did that, so enjoy. On this week's show, we discuss the many ways you can have a bad trip while ingesting Datura, also known as Jimson weed. We begin the episode by discussing how Datura works on a chemical level, and wax philosophic before jumping into some first-hand accounts of the nightmare dimensions faced by those daring enough to imbibe one of Mother Nature's most dangerous plants. Beautiful, deadly, and hard to dose, the wildly common Datura flower brings us these various tales of bleeding walls, mountains of screaming corpses, angry dads, and visions of death. We hope you will enjoy these first-hand accounts as much as we did. So thank you, and enjoy the show.
Nacho cheese no more.
Worse than sour cream. Sour cream and mayonnaise for themselves. Sounds good.
Are you sour about sour cream?
Yeah, it's gross.
The next Dark Souls game is just going to be a sour cream swamp.
No. I don't want it.
Dip your avocados in these.
Sour cream is yuck, dude.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Whole Rabbit, where we don't just rant at you about satanic black magic and esoteric alchemical rabbit holes full of meth wizards. Nay, sometimes we invite Tim Hacker on the show and collaborate and just pull something out of the hat and wave it around at you. We're also going to talk about bad trips. I think Tim has trips specifically of the Datura variety.
Oh, yeah, I just talk about, like, all the nightmarish stuff surrounding this thing. Datura is going to be pretty interesting to talk about because it's probably something that you should never do.
That's kind of the theme of this episode is drugs you shouldn't do. You should avoid them because we have the stories of the people who did, and they're bad.
It just so happens that we're talking about another flower today that can kill you.
Well, we could talk about all kinds of different psychedelics, but Datura definitely is deadly, even in small doses. The thing about Datura is, depending on the circumstances of where the flower grew, how old it is, how much sunshine it gets, the soil, all kinds of different stuff, you could take the same exact amount, but depending on if it's different plants, it could have completely different effects on how strong it is. So you could take like some seeds or smoke some of the leaves or make a tea one time and it's like, okay, this didn't kill me. You could take the exact same amount another time and it's lethal lethal.
So you want to work your way up.
Yeah, I think that you should probably just not work your way anywhere with Datura. My overall conclusion of it is that it is the psychedelic of the professionals. So if you're not literally like a professional spiritual person, such as a shaman or medicine man, stuff like that, a monk, somebody who has like super inner peace and can meditate for hours in the Himalayas, those are the people that can take Datura and they're capable of handling its effects and dealing with it. But any normal person, even experienced psychonauts, no matter how cool you think you are at being a psychonaut listener, this is not for you. This is for nobody. Don't take Datura.
I mean, just saying from experience, people in my neighborhood, we were doing that shit when we were in like 8th grade.
Oh,
Trying Hell's Bells, tea.
Is that the same thing? Because I have the Hell's
It
Bells
is.
stories.
Yeah, it's the
Oh
same
man, there's
thing.
tons of slang names for Datura.
Datura, but yes.
Datura, yeah. Datura, sorry. That's what I meant. That's the proper way to pronounce it, listeners. Datura.
Oh, this looks a lot like castor bean. Datura looks like little testicles, spiky
Those
testicles.
are the seeds. The flowers themselves are actually very beautiful. And I forget what they're called, but they're the type of flower that doesn't bloom during the day. They bloom at night. Isn't that weird?
Yes, and they're very clearly whatever fictional flower in Far Cry 5 is based off of.
I'm not familiar with Far Cry 5, but yeah, probably.
Datura is also known as thorn apples, jimsonweed, devil's trumpets, or mad apple, sometimes known as moonflower, devil's weed, or hell's bells.
Yeah, it's got all kinds of different nicknames.
You've done the tea version of this, right, Luke? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not funny.
I mean, I tried it.
I wouldn't try this
I don't think-
type of stuff. That's why we're doing the episode.
I would never touch this stuff with the 10-foot stick, personally.
I didn't know when I was in 8th grade, all right? I just heard it made you feel funny. I don't even think we did it right.
Yeah, because if you didn't get sucked into a nightmarish hell, you probably didn't do it right. Not to say that that is 100% of the time, of course, but let's just say like 99% of the time, the effects that you have or what you experience on Datura is not good. And that's putting it lightly, very lightly.
Yeah, that's true, though, because, like, maybe I didn't do it right, but other people that did it, like, definitely fucking, their bums are dead now. Like, not even joking.
And the thing about Datura, too, is that it's really everywhere. It's extremely common in pretty much all gardening, like gardening supplies and whatnot. It's like a weed almost. It's a flower, but it's like a weed. It's just all over the planet. It's legal as well because it's just so common everywhere. It's considered just poison.
It's probably invasive, along with all the other pretty plants in your garden.
So it's kind of difficult to regulate it. It would just cost a fortune. You can't really make it illegal because everybody uses it in their gardening supplies, whether they're aware of it or not. So Datura is just extremely common and everywhere. And if you consume Datura, not only is it extremely potent as a psychedelic and a poison, it also lasts from 12 to 72 hours. You heard that right. Even longer if you go like overboard taking it. There's stories of people like lasting 2 weeks.
So, like a casserole. Some casseroles last up to 2 weeks.
Fuck casseroles. And the thing that it makes it unique about psychedelics is Datura does not act like the majority of other psychedelics that we're used to hearing about. So it's not going to be like DMT. It's not going to be like acid, LSD. It's not going to be like any of those. What it does is cause delirium, which makes it unique compared to all the other psychedelics.
I think that's also what they call it when you have alcohol poisoning and you're like somehow still conscious, but you're technically poisoned and dying. Get like delirium tremens.
It's like when you're very confused.
So like other well-known powerful psychedelics that we are used to or we know about, DMT, shrooms, LSD, they alter the way that the brain processes visual, sensory, and auditory stimulation. What Datura does, Datura creates entirely new information within the brain without any other influences. And while those other psychedelics cause like a trippy experience, Datura information within the brain actually seamlessly overlaps with reality, like how our minds process it. So that's very interesting. It doesn't alter the way we experience things. It creates entirely new information in the brain from the chemicals that it introduces. That's how it's different from LSD, DMT, shrooms.
It's like that meme with the astronauts.
It's what?
You know the meme with the astronauts, like, always has been.
Yep, exactly.
Like LSD is the astronaut in the front, and Datura is the astronaut behind. He's like, I'm up in the guts, all flipping switches directly.
And since like these hallucinations, they come from the plant, they're not altered from already existing things within the brain. They're more real than real. They're utterly indistinguishable from reality. And sadly, the majority of the time, they're very dark and violent.
Well, being a plant is a dark and violent existence. You ever think about that? You ever think of how dark it would be to be a plant?
It is kind of dark, huh?
It gets cold, what do? You just have to suffer. You get wet, you're just cold and wet. And then some some insect comes along, starts eating your face. What do? You can't scream because you don't have a mouth. And then what? Some little kid named Malachor comes along, starts munching on you with his friends, all Cheeto dust on his hands and stuff. And then next thing you know, he's talking to little birds. The birds are talking back. How'd you feel?
Not to mention, dude, that there's studies that show that plants can actually communicate with each other in a way that we can't quite understand yet.
You know what they say?
What?
Help!
Like when the grass is being mowed, all the grass that has yet to be cut, they're just quivering with fear because they know exactly what's coming.
You think you could teach a Venus flytrap how to rap?
No.
Venus flytrap house?
Okay, so the Datura hallucinations are so powerful and real, people aren't even aware that they're experiencing a hallucination until after the trip is over. That's how real this stuff is. It just becomes real to them. Like, say, for example, if you came across a demon in real life, that'd probably change your entire paradigm and maybe cause you some PTSD or like psychic breakdown in your mind. Well, to the people experiencing these hallucinations, that's exactly what it would be like. This hallucination becomes real. And since they hallucinate stuff that's real, they're real, so it seems real. There's still the stuff around them that is actually real in the real world. So this drug can become very dangerous because of that. Because there's still stuff that they don't know is there, but that's like not there. It's hard to explain. But this
Like
is
what?
one of the or like there's cars. The cars are real. You know, you're gonna get hit by a car. You probably can't get to the bug inside your arm, so put down that knife. You know, it gets dangerous. The trip can cause physical harm in that way, but it can also cause physical harm because it's poison, and it definitely causes massive psychological harm. Many never recover from their 72-hour living nightmare.
Well, Mel did just fine.
He said he doesn't think he took it right. The thing is that you can microdose with this. You can microdose with Datura.
You can?
Yes. However, it's also not really good because it causes extremely vivid dreams. And these dreams are just like the hallucinations. They're not wanted. They're going to be very dark.
Can you really take Datura with your pinky in the air and then later go tell your friends how it like made work like so much more interesting, even though like it just made you feel kind of nervous? And
Honestly, I think if you microdosed with it, like the conscious aspects in your daily life, not the extremely vivid nightmares, just like your waking daily life, is probably going to be depressing as hell because it brings out the darkness.
Goat Boy is here to please you.
And that's what it's known for.
it seems like something you'd want to take like right before a presidential debate.
Well, so your greatest fears, your greatest regrets, your doubts, things, the stuff in your life that makes you depressed or maybe makes you anxious, have anxiety, all of that stuff is just going to be pushed to the top permanently. No, not permanently, but as long as the drug is in your system, it just brings out the darkness and that's it. But why do you think, because like with the other psychedelics, people, they still have bad trips, but Hack Rabbit, I want to ask you this. Why do you think that people have bad trips in the first place, you know, on the other types of psychedelics?
Oh, for the same reason that life is a bad trip most of the time, because you get your expectations out there and you're like, oh, I'm gonna see pretty colors, I'm gonna see rainbows, I'm gonna talk to the dolphins and the aliens, and then you just end up finding out that you didn't buy toilet paper because you're stupid, or maybe your personality sucks and you can finally realize it with your hyperdimensional intelligence, or you realize that all you do is spend your parents' money, or, you know, it's basically psychedelics make life come at you faster, and life has lots of ways to slap you upside the head. Otherwise, you could just take too much. You take too much of anything, you're going to have a bad trip. But, you know, that's a different story.
I think people have bad trips, just to be simple about it, is because, like Luke was just saying, take too much. That's definitely a possibility. But also they might have some mental, psychological baggage or bad experiences that when they rise to the surface, they haven't dealt with it and they're not ready to deal with it. So it doesn't come in a joyful form. It comes in a wrathful or fear-inducing form.
Do you think that psychedelics have a way of like shoving subconscious things to the surface?
Oh, most definitely.
It can definitely bring things to the surface because it's like magic. If you do magic or you do psychedelics, it's going to increase the good parts of you and the bad parts of you. And then, you know, one of those wolves is going to win for a little while. What I really noticed about psychedelics, they tend to bring to a head the things you've been studying or thinking about. So if you've been doing nothing but reading the Necronomicon for the last week, you're going to meet a tentacle monster. Or if you've been studying Star Wars, you're going to have like a Star Wars trip. trip. Or if you've been thinking about how relationships go, that's what's going to be your trip. So you have to kind of build up to it, and that's going to decide your trip. So how much life can you handle all at once?
Do you think that it takes like a certain level of maybe, I don't want to say spiritual maturity, but yeah, why not? Spiritual maturity. Say, for example, people who meditate a lot, who have done a lot of inner work, they have done a lot of philosophical thinking throughout their lives. These types of people tend to have little to no bad trips. Why do you think that is?
I want to quote Ram Dass here, who is one of the most famous psychonauts, drug takers of history. That's a positive figure. If you're seeking the path to like the truth and like an enlightened perspective on life, right? Like a hippie, because he was a hippie. His advice was then do the drugs, do the LSD, do the thing that is recommended to expand your mind. And as long as you're doing it for that reason, it's going to be good for you and you're going to get what you want. I definitely will say that this is a slippery slope, but the thing about drugs, and this is what my health teacher taught me, was that they work. That's why they need to be regulated.
Reminds me what George Carlin says about childhood smoking. It's like, you know why kids smoke cigarettes? Same reason adults do. They're stressed out, and it works.
Again, not recommending doing drugs at all. This is just what some famous people say.
Yeah, you just repeat George Carlin, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to jail now.
So do you think that for normal everyday people, it's a bad idea to do any type of psychedelic, huh? Especially if you're kind of trapped into the day-to-day rat race, got a lot of anxiety, got a lot of like bad stuff going on, maybe got a lot of past trauma you haven't dealt with. You should probably stay away from psychedelics. What do you think?
I mean, if they're normal and they're, confined in their lifestyle and they're comfortable there, they don't need to do LSD, but they must have some sort of vice, some sort of pleasure outlet, or whatever they're doing is unhealthy, right? Then they're not normal, I guess.
So you're saying maybe if somebody's got a lot of issues, they probably should stay away from it. But if you're like somewhat stable, it's maybe within your ballpark.
Everybody's looking for that dopamine, that thing, that pleasure, because, I guess some people are doing certain drugs that just to fucking further dig themselves down, like meth, I guess.
Oh, I'm sure meth is fun, when it's fun. I'm sure it's fun. Come on.
So if you're just trying to get high, you probably should stay away from this, huh? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because this is definitely like a high level. This isn't just some pleasure thing. It's gonna take you to like a crazy level of high.
Now you must come with us. Taste our pleasures.
Yeah, not only the physical dangers that could come with this category of stuff, but it's also what really lasts is the psychological damage that they can cause.
Yeah, it's like, did you ever look up gore pictures online? Like maybe once or twice when you were younger? Maybe all the time. Some listeners out there, I don't know. Whatever you're into. Did you ever do that? Look up pictures of dead people and...
What was it called in our generation? Rotten.com?
Yeah, Rotten.
Oh, yeah. That was the OG one.
This is like the psychedelic version of that. You're not doing it to like get high, really. You just kind of want to see something you shouldn't.
Yeah, see some shit.
See some shit, No, it's very spiritual. Everything is very, very spiritual. You have to take everything seriously all the time, especially drugs, because they're very serious. And spirituality is serious, and the occult is serious, and really everything should be serious 100% of the time, all the time.
You know what I think is a good gauge, like a way to test it?
Just give it to your friend?
No, so this was said to me a long time ago, and I think this might be even applicable here, is somebody told me about marijuana, about cannabis. They were like, look, if you're a confident person, when you take cannabis, it's going to be chill. You're going to enjoy its effects. If you're not a confident person or somebody who's insecure even, or somebody who has a lot of anxiety in your regular life, cannabis is going to make you paranoid and feel bad. It's going to bring out all that stuff from the subconscious you're trying not to think about.
The first time I smoked cannabis was the scariest thing, man. It was like scarier than almost any other thing I've ever tried, ever.
What do you think, Mal? Do you think that's a good gauge or accurate?
I'd agree to that statement, yeah.
You have to have like inner work then, I guess.
It always makes me paranoid.
Well, we're not talking about that, like basic stuff. I mean, come on, there's people who like get thrown into depressions over smoking cannabis. One of the things that cannabis does is it lowers the wall between your conscious and subconscious mind. And there's a lot of things in the subconscious people will do anything not to face.
That's why I take it, is because it shows me things about myself that I don't want to face, and I go, oh, that was kind of a dick move. or I should really try harder next time, or, you know, I got to do my best work because it really matters. If you can't be slipping, like stuff like that, actually. So it's not really that fun. It's not a good
And that
time.
actually seems like a positive way to take cannabis because it will show you those flaws that you don't see in your conscious mind. It'll bring up the stuff that is under the surface. So that's actually a good way. You could also look at your own life and come to conclusions about, oh, I got to change this about my life to make my life better.
Yeah, I don't even know why I smoke it. I hate it.
Yeah. To contextualize this in a few ways really quickly, drugs, they don't last forever. The effects end so that whatever you gain from it is gone by the time it's out of your system. Things like Datura have lasting long effects. But in another way, to answer the question or should confident people try marijuana or mota or weed?
I was just using it as an example, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's definitely a gateway drug. And like the first time I tried, weed and smoked weed was because this girl I really liked, and she knew I didn't smoke weed before. She was kind of like pressuring me, and I was confident, quote unquote confident, and I was like, yeah, I could smoke it, and I'm gonna do stuff with this friendship, right? Like it's gonna go somewhere.
Yeah.
And I mean that in like the total innocent, high school Malachor way.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
smoked, didn't really feel anything. And, long story short, I never got anywhere further than just becoming a smoking buddy with this friend. And it made me sad in the end. Maybe if I said no, then things would have been different.
It wouldn't have led to a life of drugs and crime and rock and roll. You're basically a menace to society, and it's because of her and weed.
Yeah. How dare she?
Well, I was already a menace before that. It just made me a bigger one, I guess.
I bet you've had sex and you're not even married.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. Don't you dare put my sins out on the table just so blatantly.
Darling.
I can't believe you.
Okay, so I'm reading here that I know I said that if you take Datura, its effects can last for 2 weeks. This says up to 9 months if you take it in like an overdose. How would you like to trip balls for 9 months?
Depends on what it is.
It would be Hell Nightmare, Hellraiser.
Hellraiser.
That's why people have gotten like PTSD from Datura many infinite many times. It's because of stuff like this. Because if you overdose on it by taking too much, you're gonna trip balls for 9 months, basically in hell.
You give birth to a little bad trip baby after 9 months.
He has his father's eyes.
How long could you take it? Because you remember, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between this nightmare and reality.
That's the best part when the baby comes out. It's like,
I'm a little bad trip. You've been brewed in your oven. You wanna go drive a car? You wanna go buy a car?
Baby, save for college.
No, let's go buy a car.
All right, at least as long as it's electronic.
And then we'll get insurance. We'll get it out of coverage.
It's a very responsible demon baby. I'm sure you're very proud of yourself.
You don't want a big premium.
Demon baby knows what's up. So despite all of this like negativity we're talking about Datura, it's actually been used for religious practices all over the world, including Asia, Europe, and the Americas. It's been used as a historical medicine, specifically for asthma in microdoses, as well as pain treatment as like a topical application. This thing has been smoked for thousands of years, so it's nothing new.
what religion uses Datura?
It's going to be the more classical kind that are maybe more animistic, as well as it's used in witchcraft actually, which is pretty weird
Oh.
because it's excellent for use with necromancy. So in witchcraft, you could take Datura and essentially summon dead people and talk to dead people. It's potent for necromancy if you're into that, according to the traditions in Europe and whatnot. So I guess that would be Western tradition, our tradition, but it would also go back before quote unquote witchcraft ever came around, obviously. So we're talking Bronze Age, Classical Age. There would be the cunning folk women doing witchy stuff back then as well with this necromancy.
Yeah, you could just like poison your husband, couldn't you?
Yes, it is a poison, like literally a poison. You could. It's been used for years by assassins, centuries, millennia.
You just put it in his oatmeal.
But it's not looked at necessarily as a bad thing in many cultures as well. Specifically in India, people believe that Shiva, the god Shiva, smokes weed and Datura at the same time, so he spliffs it.
Woo!
No.
Shiva does. Shiva smokes spliffs of weed and Datura.
Shiva could. Shiva would.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, the only people who should ever take Datura is going to be professional spiritual people, and Shiva would definitely fit that bill. And in India, many Hindus leave Datura as an offering for Shiva at his statues.
Leave a little bit for Babaji underneath the sacred tree on the sacred mountain.
Yeah, it also seems like it might be something to do with the duality of darkness and light because cannabis could be seen more as like a positive aspect of the psychedelic, whereas Datura would definitely be the dark aspect of psychedelics. So got some yin yang stuff going on there, kind of under the surface symbolically. And in northern Mexico and southern US, the shamans used to use Datura as a tool to cross between the veil of life and death. So again, not necessarily necromancy, but definitely shamanic journeying into the underworld. Datura was like a specific tool for that. And in many of these traditions in the Americas, Datura is associated with the underworld specifically for good reason.
Because if you take too much of it, you die.
Well, also just depending on who they would be contacting or doing their journeys with or what they would be summoning, etc., they would specifically choose Datura if they were doing the darker stuff, whereas they'd choose other psychedelics if they were contacting more lighter side of stuff. Get it?
It sounds kind of fun, you know?
It's not.
You know, you got like your daytime and your nighttime.
Yes, and Datura would be the nighttime. It was also used in Central and South America by shamans for divinatory purposes because allegedly you can see the future through Datura. But again, it would take practice to be able to comprehend these divinatory features of the drug. So a normal person wouldn't see the future. They would just be like, "Oh, that's a bunch of people that had their heads cut off. That's weird."
You
Or
just
some
wait
weird shit like
for a
that.
squirrel to walk up to you and tell you what's going to happen.
Yeah, and the squirrel would be like a satanic monkey.
It's gonna rain tomorrow.
Also, if somebody has schizophrenia in their bloodline, this drug will actually trigger it in them, even if it would have otherwise remained dormant. What do you think about that?
I see the secret codes all the time. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think doing any psychoactive substance while you're disposed to any form of schizophrenia is not recommended at all.
A lot of people don't even know it's in their bloodline, though.
That's true. You can actually just smoke a joint and go completely nuts. Because if it's latent, it can bring it out. Or you could just roll really low on that smoke.
You roll a 1.
Yep, critical fail.
So here's some possible negative long-term side effects of Datura. Countless accounts of self-harm, drug-induced psychosis, heart damage, seizures, PTSD, and death from overdose can occur even with small doses. Possible long-term side effects that are positive. Because there are positive ones, believe it or not. Respiratory decongestant.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because it was used as medicine for asthma, remember?
Why is it always the decongestants that make you see demons?
I never thought of that. Yeah, that is weird.
I think it might be associated just with breath. That whole idea of breath, life, it's like super connected and
Yeah, it's true. Breath is life.
it's oxygen related and carbon element related to me. You know, with oxygen being like the angel, but the carbon in us is being like invigorated by it through the substance. So when we start breathing back into existence, like if we're not dying, we're like still able to breathe.
Mhm.
You're breathing through a demon filter, basically.
I like to think of oxygen kind of like the Swedish chef, you know, like derby. You know.
From the Muppets or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I know exactly who he's talking about.
And then hydrogen is like animal. And you put the two together, that's water. You need it to survive. Think about that.
Makes sense. Other positive long-term side effects are insight into the true nature of reality. Topical painkiller increases neuroplasticity. What does that mean?
That means it's making bridges in your brain that didn't exist before, and like your brain is working in a plastic state.
Old dog, new tricks.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we were talking about how it creates new information in the brain. It doesn't work off of what's already there like the other psychedelics. More of the positive side effects are enhances creativity and open-mindedness and restarts one with a new paradigm/outlook on life, which I guess means like you basically die and are reborn. Because I've felt like that taking psychedelics before.
Oh, yeah. I mean, halfway through taking Datura, you're like, what kind of idiot am I? Why did I take this? Who are these people that let me take this? Why do I live under a bridge? What the is going on?
Exactly.
What did that moment of did you realize that it was like changing you? Like how did you just
It made me feel like I died and was reborn.
Yeah. At what point did the drug make you feel that way?
It was after it was over.
For me, with LSD, it was the moment that it started kicking in. Like time froze and my mind just went through this like cosmic trip. Was like you just experienced infinity in a moment. Now go back to where you were on the freeway going to the club. And I was like, holy shit, guys, I'm feeling it. Like, I'm back from a whole cosmic trip right now.
Yeah, and it kind of reminds me of people who have near-death experiences. They have similar experiences as people who took psychedelics because psychedelics allegedly it like recreates the experience of death. So it definitely, if you experience death and you come back, that's going to change you in a lot of ways.
I've done that before too.
Definitely will change your outlook on life, probably for the positive.
Not recommended.
Yeah, don't ever seek that out, obviously. It's also an anti-inflammatory, so you can like use it as a topical ointment and it chills your skin out. And last, definitely not least, is losing the fear of death.
You know, when you die, it's not so scary anymore.
So yeah, the experience would be nightmarish, but at the end of the day, what do people fear more than anything else in this world? As being a human, we fear dying. So
Public
what if
speaking,
you-
actually, you know.
or
just-
public speaking.
Yeah.
But what if you could use the Datura as a tool to get rid of that fear of death? Not saying that you should, don't ever do it, but that the option is there because this is one of the alleged side effects.
You know, I actually took some right before the show to help with the fear of public speaking, and it's, you know, you guys, you have mouths on your foreheads. And I accept it. I accept you for who you are, because we're all beautiful snowflakes.
Do you think that losing the fear of death would be extremely positive?
In certain contexts, but not directly telling everybody to find that out.
Well, yeah, of course. We're not trying to say anyone should do this ad nauseum, but
You know,
in a philosophical sense.
yeah, for the Bronze Age warrior, it's like, yeah, don't fear death in battle. When you're living in a podcast, it's like,
Because I think that losing the fear of death could actually be
different.
pretty legit, like and helpful in a lot of ways.
Not on the freeway.
No, not in that kind of sense. Obviously, you're always going to have the survival instincts and you don't want to end self-delete yourself. Not talking about that. Talking about overall, like think about it. Most people, their greatest anxiety is death, and they always shove it to the deepest parts of their subconscious. Our society just always hides from death. But what if you could just lose that fear? That seems like it would be a huge advantage psychologically.
I mean, maybe.
We're just being philosophical here.
It's both. That's why. You should fear death and you shouldn't fear death. If death is stopping you from doing what you want to do, then like you should get over it. But it's okay to fear death.
It's the unknown.
Well, it's okay to fear death because it's the unknown and you like your life and you don't want it to end.
Hear me out. What
Huh.
if you don't fear death, but you're still terrified of discomfort?
That's just weakness.
Well, then, you could still be weak and not fear death. So does it really
That's true.
matter?
Yeah.
Can you use it to make money?
Yeah, because you'd probably take a lot more risks and you would care a lot less what other people think.
But
Like-
would your love of money ever interfere with your lack of fear of death? You know what I mean? Like, because if you die, you can't spend the money anymore.
I think it would
Right.
probably depend on the person. I think it would make less the superficial stuff important and more the personal stuff important. That's good for personal growth and just like for example, say somebody only cared about money and they had a near-death experience, then they came back and they lost the fear of death. All of a sudden, they become good family members. You know, they help the needy, whereas before they were dicks. I think that it could have that kind of a result.
But who gets the money?
I like your quote because it makes rich people sound like assholes until they die.
I mean, there can be assholes after they die, too.
Spooky ghosts are dicks.
I heard you had some trip stories.
Yeah, let's talk about some of common hallucinations from Datura.
Tell us a trip story, Tim. We want to gather around the Christmas tree and put walnuts on your toes.
We absolutely shall do so. So, what a lot of people see when they take Datura is they smoke phantom cigarettes or eat phantom food.
What?
Yeah, because it's so real.
You're not supposed to eat the food in the other world, by the way.
No,
That's
you're
my
never
thing.
supposed to.
Can
No.
you eat the cigarettes, though?
Well, yeah, I don't know why they would. Another common hallucination is they'll see people or entities that they know.
You know me.
So if you're, depending on what kind of religious or spiritual paradigm you exist in, you'll probably see demons from it. Another common hallucination reported is blood oozing out of the cracks or like creases in everything all around you.
Oh, bloody butt crack. I've seen that before.
Like the wrinkles in your peepee, or like the folds in your armpits, or like
Probably like the corners of walls and stuff, guys.
oh, that's different.
Or like, you know, in doors, wherever there's creases in any structures or designs of architecture, they all of a sudden start bleeding. That sounds fun. Next one is insects or parasites. So people often like hallucinate phantom giant ticks on them and shit like that. They're just covered in like flesh-eating bugs. That's why a lot of
Yeah.
times people hurt themselves.
It's the aphids from A Scanner Darkly, and this is why people pick their face and their arms when they're high on meth.
Yep.
It's a clear sign of use.
And the last common reported hallucination is feeling like your brain or other organs are going to fall out of your body.
All I know is pain.
Which sounds ridiculously horrifying.
I feel like that all the time.
Okay, now we could get into some trips. This is by you someone's alt123 at r/Datura forum on Reddit. I remember watching TV. I don't remember the show, but there are bugs all over the walls. The man in the corner won't stop staring at me. I'm hearing whispers from the kitchen. I try to sleep. I can't relax over the breathing coming from the foot of my bed. I could feel its breath, itching, lots of itching. I'm dying. I've died multiple times already, and I'm going to die again. I hope this is the last time. I walk outside. It's daytime. There's a girl talking to me. She looks dead. She tells me I'm next. I snap out of it, back in my room. She's standing in front of me. Huge bugs everywhere. None of this seems to bother me anymore. I have multiple more strange occurrences like this, but I don't remember them. What do you think about that?
I think that's a Korn music video.
That sounds like it, because that dude
That
was
doesn't
high
sound
as
fun.
fuck.
Do you think he asked the girl out after that? Or.
The dead girl?
Yeah.
Dude, she's dead.
But love can transcend the grave, Tim.
But it sounds she was specifically trying to be spooky to him. Why would you want to date somebody trying to be spooky to you?
People do it all the time. Anyway, I understand, though, what you're getting at. Gingivitis. Dead people always have bad gingivitis. Halitosis.
Meth teeth. All right, this one is also from Reddit. Okay, you want to read the next one?
By Reddit user Remarkable T 3717. I was in bed when I woke up in another dimension. I saw thousands upon thousands of dead bodies stacked upon one another, going through into the sky. Screaming! Lots of bloody screams! And the blood was stained onto the walls of brownness. And that's really all I recall until I woke up with a horrible headache and the doctors telling me it'll be okay. It'll be okay. Just get a clear friend.
Damn, dude, mountains of corpses screaming. It's like those pictures from the Renaissance of hell.
Hey kids, want to see something really fucked up?
That seems to be a common motif with these types of plants, is hellscapes that resemble Renaissance paintings of hell.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude.
do you think that's what the witches had to go through to like stab their boss in the neck astrally and stuff like that? They're like, oh, hey, what's up, Satan? Oh, hey, what's up, weird centipede butt vagina?
Who knows, man? Maybe. It seems like they were onto something, though.
We all want to be on a big centipede butt vagina. Please continue.
This next one is from Adamole123. They say, I find the memory effects that happens when you are on this planet seem to misplace me in the reality that everyone else is living and getting along in. It's not like a nice feeling. I feel totally separate from people, and the memory flashbacks are overwhelming, not letting me get on with my present day life. It's crazy. If you want advice, beware of how many times you actually use, and remember that the unwanted side effects are always there, like memory time, travel.
That sounds awesome.
So as you can see, these trips are pretty fucked up.
You know how you make memory time travel awesome every time? You just make sure your life is always getting worse. You see, that's the trick.
So yeah, what do you think? You should probably be a professional spirit person to ever go anywhere near this stuff, huh?
I mean, somebody's got to eat it.
Like, it takes years of spiritual training to consume. For 99% of people out there, this is just gonna cause pain and darkness. That's all that awaits them.
But some people, they deserve it. And you know, some people, that's what they want. You got to give the people what they want. It's democracy, Tim. If people want pain and darkness and bloody orifices, well, by God, it's our responsibility to give it to them.
But it should be escape. We get all that stuff in normal everyday life already.
And if we can make some money doing it, then it's justified.
This one comes from shroomery.org. Link in the show notes, details of this episode. By Offline Mr. Hanky, the Christmas Poo.
Oh my.
That night, I ate them. Bear in mind, I was a big pothead and maybe a little naturally stupid and had no clue that you had to wait longer for orally ingested drugs to kick in.
You're
We've all
stupid.
been there, though. I mean, come on. Who hasn't had half a weed cookie and been like, oh, this weak, and then like eaten two more, only to not be able to leave your couch and then poop yourself and puke? We've all been there.
All I know is pain.
Anyway, 10 p.m. I started with 50 seeds, chewed them up good and swallowed them. Waited 15 minutes. I know, dumb, and figured they weren't working. 10:15. Ate another 50 seeds, chewed, swallowed. 10:45 p.m. Still no effects. I know. I'll eat another 50 seeds.
Oh no. If this were an occult journal, it would mean sucking dicks.
Oh my god. 11 p.m. All right, now I have 150 seeds in me. 1 hour since I ate the first 50 seeds, and still no effects yet. So I figured this stuff must be crap. Stupid liars at my school must be just trying to get attention. So I smoke some weed and go to sleep.
That's gonna work.
Yeah, I figure I wasted my time. Halfway through the night, I woke up with my hand over my face. For some reason, the first thing to come to mind is it is a scorpion. I don't move. I don't want to get stung. Then I swatted off my face and realized that it was my hand. This whole thing doesn't even strike me as unusual, and I go back to sleep.
I mean, we all get scorpion hands sometimes when we sleep.
7:30 a.m. Tuesday morning. I wake up for school, but something is definitely not right here. My room is kind of moving in a way that it didn't before, and my coordination is wrong. I stumble over to my door and to the laundry room to get dressed when I think I see my dad standing there watching me. I've never quite got along with my dad, as he does not like my affinity for psychedelics.
Oh, my affinity for psychedelics.
He just stands there staring, and I ask him, "What is wrong with you? I'm trying to get dressed here." Wait, what the hell? Where did he go?
I haven't seen my dad since
I
I
bet
was
his dad's
3.
dead. Yeah, I bet his dad's dead or something.
He just
I
went
go-
to go get some cigarettes. He'll be back.
I go downstairs and I start eating breakfast and find out my dad left for work 2 hours earlier.
Oh!
I am confused. Suddenly it dawns on me. Maybe this Datura stuff isn't bullshit after all. I then went to school and really started my nightmarish trip. Damn, he went to school on this? Remember, if you overdose on this it just continues making you trip up to like months. This must be crazy.
I love how long it's taking it to kick in because he ate it before he went to sleep, right? And then
Yeah.
you don't really start digesting stuff when you're asleep. You have to wake up a little bit. So he woke up and he's starting to it's starting to hit him now. Oh man,
That's
this is great.
crazy. And he's going to school. Continuing.
Honestly, that's the best place to trip. Let's be real.
No, it's not. It's like the worst.
It's the best place to trip because you're surrounded by knowledge
Oh my god.
and people your age. If you're
I guess
young.
it would be better to trip at church, huh?
It depends, Like, is it a black church? Then yes. Like with the singing and the... Anyway, please continue.
I then went to school and really started my nightmarish trip. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad in the right environment, but high school was definitely not the time or place for this particular trip. I talked to my friend C, who decides he should tell me how long it lasts. Quote, "Yeah, dude, this stuff lasts 3 days at least." End quote.
What the man?
He tells me to have a good ride and good luck, then leaves for class. Fuck, now I'm worried.
Yeah, dude, this stuff lasts like 3 days, man.
The rest is fragments of memory, but I will share the ones I remember here as I remember them.
Awesome.
Day 1, things went reasonably well. Nobody seemed too suspicious, other than D and other friends tell me my pupils are massive. I remember hearing the odd voice in my head, paranoia, crazy shit like that, and wicked bad cotton mouth. Day 1 went relatively well. Not too many big hallucinations that I remember, mostly tracer type things, I think. At this point, none of my stoner friends, B, D, and T, had eaten any seeds. Things are trippy, but not really in a bad way, and not like any drug I've ever done since then.
I'm pretty sure it's that cotton mouth he's experiencing. That's what eventually kills you, I think.
Day 2, the shit hits the fan. Constant cotton mouth, voices in my head. Objects that shouldn't move sometimes seem to be, but not in a cool way anymore. My girlfriend read up on Datura and was worried about me, and I'm trying hard to maintain during classes, which is getting tough. I never noticed how much my science teacher looks like an orangutan, and I almost laugh in her face.
Stupid orangutan, bitch.
Then I remember talking to my history teacher and my foot melts into the floor for a second. She must have noticed because she asked me if I'm feeling okay and looked at my eyes suspiciously. My eyes are like huge black holes at this point. I am constantly thirsty, dizzy, and have a headache. My friends all want to eat some despite my warnings. But who gives a shit right now? I am focused on appearing sober and doing a shitty job at it. That night I go home and sit on the couch and just stare for a while. Not at the TV, I don't think it even occurred to me, just into space. I remember feeling like my brain was full of static. Then my mom comes home and asks if I'm okay, and for some reason, I comment on how foggy it is outside. She tells me there is no fog, it's sunny. I decide this is a good time to take a walk down to where I work, down the street, to ask my boss for some time off next week for a camping trip. Here comes the craziest hallucination I think I ever had. Since this, I have tripped on mushrooms once, MDMA 3 times, mescaline 5, LSD 15 plus times, and salvia dozens of times, as well as a pretty large bunch of other things I won't get into now. I still think this is one of my weirdest hallucinations to date, excluding salvia. Nothing gets weirder than that plant.
It's true.
I was walking down my street. I walked past a mini mall, looking to the left at my reflection in a dark window, and thought I saw me walking, holding hand with my girlfriend. The weird part was I was so screwed up at this point, it didn't even click that she wasn't there. And then I looked back a second later, and now I was holding hands with myself.
Oh, he never had a girlfriend.
This clicked in as not right and scared the piss out of me. And I looked to my right, and sure enough, I was alone. I am not exaggerating. This was the realest hallucination I've experienced. I can't remember if I kept walking or went home.
Probably both.
Day 3. Things are getting nightmarish, and I am really looking forward to the end of this bullshit. Voices coming and going more frequently, as well as trails on objects, and I am starting to get pretty anxious and paranoid. I remember having a lot of trouble communicating with people, and even at one point, seriously considering that Datura had made it possible for me to read people's minds. By now, I was getting pretty delirious. I'm not sure if it was a hallucination or not, but there was one moment in day 3 where I was seriously convinced that I might die. I was sitting in history, writing a test, failed it obviously, when suddenly I felt a massive pain in my chest. The pain was real, but my brain may have made it seem worse at the time. The pain spread quickly to my left arm and back, and I was sure I was having a heart attack. I was freaked out and started sweating. Luckily, I sat in the back of the class and somehow got through this without anyone noticing. I remember starting to get up and try to get help, but the pain was so much I had to stay sitting and squeezed my eyes shut. And then a couple of minutes later, it was gone as quickly as it had came. Then later, that same class, we had a surprise fire alarm. Oh good. Where I met my friend D outside, who was also now on Datura.
Oh,
He had
idiot
no-
friends. Nice.
Man, this would be so traumatizing at school. He should have just been calling in sick. What the hell? Anyway, he had no clue what was happening and thought it was time to go home. I tried to tell him we still had school, but he thought I was lying. There was some more but this trip report is long enough already. I would not recommend this. It totally sucked for me for the most part. I put 3 people in my school in emergency in less than a week, one of which was in a coma but recovered. Luckily, I wasn't one of them. That was kind of tame but still horrifying.
Woo! Tripping out for 3 days in class, imagining you have a girlfriend. Tough life. But if you'd like to hear the rest of the episode where we talk about not just Datura trips, but also belladonna trips, I guess they're not the same thing, I think, as well as what other random banter that we unleash upon Tim, because it's 1:30 in the morning, and damn it, I can't feel my face when I'm with you. Thank you, everybody. Eat carrots and shoot lasers.
Pew pew pew.
CrypticChronicles.com.